Hello, everybody. I am Lieber Wilcox, and I am pretty confident today. I think I can actually do a decent recording. So, today we are actually finishing the what's it called, Portal video game, and, we're just gonna continue it. Alright, so let's see here. Load game, and we have to find the one that I'm at. Let's see here. Here we go. This guy right here. Let's load it up. So today, I guess it's gonna be like. Here, 1 second. I need to turn this thing down. No, not bonus maps. Options. Let's see here. No audio and game volume. Can't really do it that well. I'm not sure if you guys can hear it, but I definitely can. But I think I may need to adjust my volume manually because otherwise I'm going to be interrupted like a lot. Alright, so I'm pretty sure that's good. Alright, yep, that's good. So if I didn't do that, I would feel interrupted like all of the time. But this is a continuation of the last episode. It's probably going to be like an hour long, just like the last episode. So yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Where the hell was I? Just make a portal. Thank you. So hard to do it well when you're not in the test chambers. Alright. So, like I said in the last episode, I already went through this entire game. So I'm gonna be knowing what to do here. But that's not the point of the video. I'm not doing like walkthroughs. What I'm gonna do is I am going to tell you guys about my life, how it's going, and stuff like that. And about this t-shirt I'm wearing called Henning's Fireballs. I'm pretty sure that's what it says. I can't really see it from my angle. But I got it from my third grade teacher. She was like, she was practically giving these things out. She was like, I can't tell what age she was, but she was giving out these t-shirts one day. T-shirts one day. I had her name on them. I don't know if she like made them or something. But they were definitely comfortable to wear, stuff like that. I didn't really wear them to support her, more as I wore them because, well, it's just something. It's just like some decent clothes to wear for once. And keep in mind, I got this in like third grade. My life wasn't doing very well back then. So after I got this T-shirt, I was like, okay, this seems like something to wear at school. But no, back then we actually had a dress code, and I was like, oh, I don't get to wear this. Then why are teachers handing these things out? This doesn't seem very good. Like, that doesn't seem like very good marketing decision. Plus, if the teacher is giving these away at school, doesn't mean that they're school appropriate. Like, because that sounds like that's the case, right? Tell me if I'm wrong here, but that definitely sounds like the case. But yeah, we had uniforms in our old school, and in COVID we still did. They just weren't as strict. But yeah, it was still kind of difficult. I even witnessed some kids in the class that just didn't care. And they were like, oh, you have to wear black or white socks. I'm like, why does it matter? Like, they're just socks. I understand like inappropriate, but just why just black and white? Also, who finds stuff inappropriate on socks? They say some teachers say, oh, it's a distraction from school, which is why you're not allowed to have colored hair. But if it was a distraction from school, let me tell you, these kids would get more distracted if they would get more distracted just thinking about it. So yeah, that doesn't seem like something the school thought out. But now we're able to wear stuff like graphic tees and like pants with the designer logo on the all the basic stuff, just nothing too advanced or like suspension or something. I don't know. Alright, and I died. So, what else to talk about? I'm feeling that I should probably give you the origin story on how I got like my style. Like I'm not following it very much anymore because well, I live in Arizona summer. So yeah, it's kind of hard to follow it if you're in a place with restrictions like that. But my origin was like I were or at the beginning it was like the basic. I was like 3 years old when I started clothing and all that shit. And well, clothing was very basic back then. You didn't get really much to do so with, like especially if you don't have a very wealthy family, because well, if you're not wealthy, you can't afford those clothes, you know. All right, but it was like good enough, I would say. So once I started school, and I had like this jacket. Jackets are allowed. People say stuff like, "Oh, it's against the dress code" and shit like that. But they're sweaters. No one cares. Everybody have custom sweaters, and so I had like one of those creepers ones when I was like in third grade, and they wouldn't let me zip it all up all the way through, which understandable. But the problem with the is that these teachers just wouldn't allow them in general. Like one time, it was like one of my teachers was like, or I guess the teacher was like, "Oh, if it's 90 degrees out, you're not allowed to wear it." And I'm like, "Why?" Like if someone feels so hot that they need to take it off, then they're gonna take it off. Like you don't need to give them reminders or some shit like that to take it off once it's 90 degrees. I'm pretty sure it is obvious that they need to do that, like a health codes thing or something. But yeah, that's what happens at like Landmark and stuff like that. But when we were still using stuff like dress codes, it was complicated. I can't really say how complicated it was because I'm not sure. But everybody, the teachers are like, oh, you have to you have to sign this thing that essentially that essentially forces you to wear something you don't want to wear, and like, well, if we have to, sure, okay. Like we the kids weren't really gonna sign it. It was mostly just our parents. To be honest, I don't think kids were allowed to sign things at that point. Like as kids, like we're kids, we can sign anything. Like we can get like our money stolen if we sign things that are as kids. But these teachers like, you have to sign these papers because of the dress code. And I'm like, all right, I guess if we have to, we don't really have a choice if we have to. So after that, it was like the teachers were like, oh, you guys signed the papers for the dress code. We didn't. We signed them, but it was like gaslighting us into signing them. Like it wasn't. It was. Think of it as like, um, yeah, kind of like gaslighting, but not quite. To be honest, I'm not sure what gaslighting means, but I know the basic maybe. But essentially, what I hear from it is when teachers guilt trip you, something like that, into doing it. Like, oh, the entire school's doing it, so why aren't you doing it? You know, like teachers always do stuff like that, and it pisses me off. All right, let's see here. Another thing to talk about. I don't really got much to talk about, but I guess I can think of a few things. Just give me a few seconds. All right. Have I ever told you guys about how I broke my arm one time? So, I was in like landmark school, you know, the one that I was in for like 5 years, and not the one that I only was at for like, let's see here, like a month. I think a month is accurate. But I wasn't at it. I was at it for like 5 years until I just like and mom was in class helping the teachers with stuff, and I was like, nope, I'm not putting my son through this. And she realized that I was being traumatized. Like I wasn't learning anything, and I was being traumatized and stuff like that. But yeah. Back to my broken arm. The one time that I broke it was like my elbow too. My elbow, like I broke my elbow, and it was like a very important part of it. So when someone sent me to the nurse, it was like, "Can you raise your arm?" And I raised it like this because my elbow doesn't work. So how can you raise it like that? You know? And for some reason, the nurse saw this, me doing this, instead decided to put an ice pack under here. Now, I'm not sure if you actually need to do it like that, but that seems like something that you're not supposed to do. Now, I'm not judging, of course, but that doesn't seem very good. Like, it doesn't seem like it's good for your armpit. Like, why put something there when you're not meant to put it there? You know? Alright, bud. Look over here. Over here. Thank you. Alright. So, back on how it was broken, like, flashback. Um, it broke because I jumped off the playground. Now, don't judge me. I was like 8 years old. You'd think I would have known better, but this was like a kid's playground that I was at. And it didn't seem very steep to me. Like, it was pretty steep, but it was small enough for kids to be like, oh, that's not that steep. Um, so some kids would jump off of the rock climbing part. And I was one of those kids. Like, if you know me, like in real life, I like to take some risks, like not with stuff like I don't take risks for stuff like getting a girlfriend and stuff like that. That's mainly because I don't want one. Like that's too much of a hassle to deal with. Like some of them are gold digger, or it's kind of take you a long time to find one that is there for you and not your money and stuff like that. And now I know that I'm gonna be a YouTuber. I don't want a girlfriend and that in case of when I grow up to be rich or like very popular and have like a lot of money um, and am able to spend it on my YouTube for you guys. To be honest, I'm not really doing this for the money. I'm doing this for the lap of comedy. I'm doing this because my favorite YouTubers, which are people like Captain Sauce and whatchamacallit, Popular MMOs, they stopped, or Popular MMOs stopped making YouTube videos. It was almost like an entire thing, but it wasn't as bad as you may have expected it to be. But it went from like 3 months without editing or uploading a video to 2, 3, and so on. It went up to 7 months before it was just like nothing. So yeah, but I inspired to make YouTube videos for like inspired to make YouTube videos for the popularity. Now, I'm not the kind of dude that wants to be the center of attention. If anything, I'm kind of the opposite. Because if you know me, like at my old school or something like that, or what have you, then I'm the kind of person that just wants to hide. And that's why I grew my hair out. Because back when I was in school, like, I got bullied a lot more than the average person. Like, on my last year of being there in 7th grade, these random kids all of a sudden were like, oh, I'm gonna suck your dad's dick. What you gonna do about it? And I'm like, I'm gonna call the police. And they kept bothering me because they didn't believe it, of course. But, yeah, it was disgusting. And nobody should be treated like that. To be honest, I would wish this on my greatest enemy. But that's because I know my enemy Yeah, but that's because it's like my greatest enemy is like an asshole, or not just like an asshole. Like he's one of the worst people ever known, you know? So yeah, he's one of the reasons why I grew up with stuff like anger issues. Is because it's because ow, 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 ow. It's because I grew up with anger issues and things got really mad and unstable for me. Like I used to have temper tantrum, and it's just because I didn't get my way. Like I was going through a lot back then, and it used to be like, well, why don't I get some? Like it wasn't like confusion. Well, I guess it was confusion because like I wouldn't do chores, but I didn't know you needed to do that to get money. You know, your parents usually do chore. Well, your parents usually make you do it as child labor, which I'm not against child labor. Like as long as you're not forcing kids to do it, or like when they cut themselves on some rust tetanus shot, you wouldn't be like, oh, suck it up, you dumb bitch. No, I'm not against it. But if it was like how I just said it, then very much so. I would be like more than just against it. I would probably like sue people to make it stop, because that is not okay. So yeah, that's why I'm against it. Um, so so with me growing up with anger issues, this was a big problem, and I didn't grow up with very good parents. They're doing their best now, and I can respect that, and I can appreciate that and stuff like that. And in all reality, they are good parents, but they weren't very good back then because, well, it's because of the siblings they had. I'm not gonna get too into it. Like I'm not gonna talk about it too much without their permission. But let's just say some bad things, like sexual things, happened to our family pretty recently, and it's changed our family for the worst. All right. So, um, yeah. All right. What else am I going to talk about? Ooh, let's talk about the time where I got my credit card stolen. Now, you guys already heard the story, probably from the last episode. You probably haven't heard the story, to be honest. But I sold my Switch money. I sold my Switch for money, and I didn't use it on myself. I'm not the kind of guy who's like, I'm gonna spend this on chips and stuff like that. No, I know that if you use money, you might as well not spend it on food unless you have to, because on in some cases, a Nintendo Switch can give you a lot more entertainment than well, just a small bag of Takis, which by the way, in my theory, talkies are actually drugs, and I don't mean like illegal substances. I mean like they feel like drugs. They're addicting. They make your nose runny. They they give you a constant good feeling, and then make you feel like shit afterwards. And then there's like a few more things, and that's my reasoning for how they're drugs. So yeah, that's my theory. A film theory, that is. Alright. Where did the thing go? Oh, there it is. But, yeah, this is essentially. Wait, what was I talking about again? Alright, my stolen credit card. So, when I got my credit card stolen, and it was like I sold my Switch money, or I sold my Switch to get that money for YouTube. So when I got it stolen, it was like, oh come on, I sold that money for my YouTube, and I know exactly who it was. The only thing is that we couldn't get them to budge unless they like admitted it or something like that. But they essentially thought of the idea like, oh, I got nothing to hide from. I got nothing to hide, dude. Yes, you do. We got your number or your address. I know you ordered Uber Eats. I know you ordered Uber Eats sometime soon. And so I'm like, I know you ordered Uber Eats, and and he's like, oh, I got nothing against you, and I'm like, yes, you do. And I know you were the one that stole it, or I don't know that, but if no one comes to resolve this, then like if nobody admits that they were the ones to do it, then he was gonna get accused for doing so. Oh, like he had my phone, and my phone at the time was essentially a wallet. Like, sure, I know what some of the comments are thinking. Oh, you have a mom phone, but you guys don't understand my genius. My reasoning for having my reasoning for having a mom phone is the fact that you don't need to worry about your credit card. Like, you know what's on your phone, and you always got the damn thing on you. So yeah, you don't why carry something separately when you can just carry something how it's most likely done. You know, like you don't need to carry around a separate wallet anymore. You can just have it all in one. But no one really steals your phone nowadays. So yeah, like what information would be useful on there? Like why would these guys need your history? Are they kind of hold you up hostage or something like that? Like no, you don't need it. So yeah. So no one have ever tried to steal my phone before. I have lost it, and I'm not really sure if someone have ever stolen my phone before. Like I had a phone before the one that I used to have, of course. Great sentences, Libra. But during that time, I had like a $20 phone, and it was really cheap. I got it at Target because, well, that's not like the only place to get one at this point. Like I didn't have very much money. I had money that my mom gave me for the summer. Yes, this is like summertime, and this, and I'm like, oh, I want to spend it on a phone since I don't have my own. And my mother's like, oh yeah, that's reasonable. Like, so what you gonna do with the phone? And I'm just thinking, oh, that's a good question. Because I don't need it for like a phone number, some other shit that kids need nowadays. You know, my family can only afford one phone with a SIM card, or they own three, but they can't and own like everyone for each person in my family. So yeah. So with that information, it's like, what you gonna do about it? So yeah. Anyway, this game is done. I'm pretty sure this was actually a very short episode. It seems like a short episode, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm not sure how long this is. I guess I can check. But let's see the end credits. Like this is what it's been leading up to for a very long time. Where when you break out of the test chambers, it's like oh, you will be rewarded with cake, and it's like they make it seem like it's a lie and stuff like that. See? And when I saw this directly, I'm like, oh no. Like, for the recording that I was using, I was like, oh no, I feel so bad. But, in all reality, when I first saw this, it was like, oh no. Like, because I didn't know that. This also made me think since because of all the hallways that the camera had to go through. You would think that there would be another ending to this game, so I looked it up, and no, there wasn't. Like, maybe you would need to take a different route or something like that, or what have you. Ooh, but no, there's no separate ending. But I have heard that in Portal 2, which I am playing on this YouTube channel, and I haven't played it yet, nor did I install it. I didn't install it, so I wasn't tempted to just be like, well, maybe I can play a few seconds of it, you know? So I haven't installed it yet. I'm just telling myself, like, don't install it unless you're actually going to do a YouTube video on it. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's reasonable. So it's a constant reminder in my head that, like, when I go on to my Steam page, I'm like, should I play Portal 2? And I'm just like, no. Save it for YouTube channel. Because I spent $10 on these games. Like $10 each. So it was like $20 for these games. So, yeah. This is why money... So you need to start out with money, and you need to spend it on games, and you need to play those games to cause entertainment to give to other people or share with the internet, and then they will give you money if you they will give you money for merch that you bring out. So yeah, until I'm 18, it's gonna be like, oh, I have new merch out, yeah. But I'm not 18. I don't even have a permit to sell anything. But yeah, to be honest, you don't need a permit to sell anything. Stuff like when I sold my DS, or my DSi on eBay, it was like $55, and I made $10 profit. And it was like, all right, yeah, that seems good. No, but you don't need a permit for, like, you do need adult supervision, but you don't need a permit for that stuff. But if you're trying to sell merch, like, what do you call it? If you're trying to sell merch manually, then you are gonna need a permit and stuff like that. But if it's online, you're just gonna need to be 18 years old, and you have to prove to, like, the internet that you're not like a criminal or something like that. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. I know this one shorter than the last, but I guess it still was fun to play. And if I can bring this back up finally. We've been recording for like 27 minutes. Wow. Felt like 2 minutes. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed this content, and well, hit the like button if you enjoyed this content or this video, so I know to keep making these videos. And be sure to hit subscribe, so these videos will show up on your home page, and you don't want to miss these videos, right? Right? I guess for the people who don't care about my videos, I don't know. But for the few of you guys that do watch my videos, I got like 17 subs now. For the few of you that do watch my videos, I thank you a lot. But be sure to be subscribed for if you don't want to miss this future content. And hit the like button so I know that you guys enjoyed this content, and I will keep making more. So hopefully you guys had an enjoyable time watching this, and I will see you next time.